5 of Canada's living Prime Ministers met in Ottawa last week. They announced a plan to preserve the dignity and reputation of the Prime Minister's office. The plan involves the Canadian Shield, a thick layer of rock that covers more than 500 million square kilometres. The proposal would be a lot like mining, but in reverse. The Prime Ministers would be sealed in containers and buried alive in a network of tunnels far below the Earth's surface. The Prime Ministers would be left in the drums under the Canadian Shield for an undetermined amount of time, depending on public reaction. Public reaction is expected to be good. The plan does not include former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, who appears to have done a fine job digging a hole all on his own.
Budget-squeezed hospitals across the country are looking for new ways to make ends meet. In Halifax, one hospital fired its nutritionist, bought a donut franchise, and raked in the profits. It did so well, they added a pizza franchise. Now there are plans to franchise out the operating rooms. One interested bidder, tools are us.
Canadians from coast to coast were outraged last week when Revenue Canada figures revealed that in 1992, 14 millionaires cooked their books and collected unemployment insurance benefits. Fearing reprisals, legal or otherwise, the millionaires convened a top-secret meeting to discuss strategy in the wake of a major public relations disaster.
The millionaires met late last night high atop Toronto's skyline in the private dining room of the CN Tower. During before-dinner grace in which one particularly filthy rich man was reported to say, "As God is my witness, we've done nothing wrong," something strange occurred.
No word yet whether the lightning was God responding to the prayers of Canadians or just God voicing his own opinion.
2 men living in Florida have admitted to stuffing turkeys with handguns in order to smuggle the weapons into Haiti. Police were alerted when one of the bloated turkeys was spotted slowly dragging itself across a Fort Lauderdale road. No officer would handle the bird, however, for fear that it would go off in his hands.
Paul Martin's proposals on the economy have sparked debate across the country. We go now to 2 economists with their own modest proposals. Dr. Herschel Leblonsky is with the C.D. Fraser Institute in Vancouver, and Dr. Naomi W. Ryden is with the Howe Institute in Montreal. Hello to you both.
Hello.
What is obvious is we must get rid of this $41 billion annual deficit. And my proposal is simply to take the unemployed, who are now costing the Canadian taxpayers a whopping $18.3 billion, and feed them to the old age pensioners.
Did you just say feed?
Yes. The 1.7 million unemployed Canadians will give us 500 million tasty half-pound servings of unemployed unemployables fat on to be served at 1 serving per pensioner per day, saving the $18.3 billion in UI benefits and allowing us to make a substantial cut to the pensioner stipend.
What a monstrous suggestion! If you just look at the charts, you can't help but conclude the obvious. The pensioners who are costing the most should be fed to the unemployed.
Hello, excuse me. Are you people paid to come up with this sort of thing?
Yes, handsomely. And while Dr. Leblonsky's argument seems sound, one could argue the aged are just sitting around using up precious non-renewable pulp and paper resources as depends.
My point exactly. If you could just take this totally non-productive segment of society and feed them to the able-bodied unemployed, and then utilize this well-fed, non-fossil fuel-burning source of transportation, and then ride the unemployed to work.
Okay, thank you. That's quite enough. The views expressed by the guests of this hour has 22 minutes do not reflect the views of anyone. I don't think. Please God.
Once the news of the day has been reported, once you're ready to nod off to bed, stay tuned for 22 Minutes Magazine. This week, Canadians respond to gun control.
What is the point of having a gun in the truck if the ammunition is locked in the glove box, huh? Answer me that. It's going to take me 3.4 seconds to get the ammo out of the glove box into the gun and to open fire on potential hitchhikers. I mean hijackers.
A totally unbiased look at one side of an explosive issue.
It's like we're living in communist Russia, man. Under the new rules, Canadians are only going to be allowed to have 100 rounds of ammunition in the house at any given point. What's that about, man? I got a very expensive stereo in that house. Anyone comes in my house after my stereo, I'm going to be waiting for him. See, I got it all planned out.
That's later when all the news is over and we have some time to fill. 22 Minutes Magazine.
This hour has 22 minutes is brought to you by The Boot. Feet stay dry in a boot.
When people celebrate Halloween or when they go to scary films, it's all about dealing with their fear of death, isn't it? I mean, why fear death? Just don't do it. I make a huge list every day of things to do, and I always put death at the very bottom. But it's the last thing I want to do, so I never get round to it. That's the trick. I'm told, apparently, these huge stone gardens that you see are actually graveyards. And I'm told that people have to go to these places who've forgotten to make a proper list. Or perhaps their last list was just too short. Like, ring up Granny, vacuum the carpet, bite the dust. See, it takes no time at all to ring up your mum or suck the lint off a rug. And then what's left? You kick off, don't you? Well, I guess kick off is not politically correct. I suppose we shouldn't refer to the dead as dead at all, but rather metabolically challenged. There's a huge difference. Like, my Uncle Damien was struck by lightning and killed instantly last week, and I can't for the life of me understand why he had that on his list. Surely he must have known that would be an extremely unpleasant experience. But he was slightly eccentric, and he wasn't terribly aware of how the world worked. I guess it's sad, isn't it? But nobody told him that when it comes to death, just say no.
The investigation, officials in Seoul are still not sure what caused the midsection of a major bridge to collapse during rush hour. However, a breakthrough may be imminent. Analysts have now looked under the bridge and confirmed that it contains what many feared: the words "made in Korea."
Peace is now possible in Northern Ireland. For a reaction, we talked to Ian Gusty Moore in Belfast and Owen Oatcakes O'Rourke in Dublin. Hello to you both.
Ah, God love you, Frank, and your mother before me for having me on the show. Well, you know, Frank, the all-time top of the pops over here is still H.H. the Pope's album, his 79 Mass in Dublin.
Fascinating. Actually, we were trying to find out the public's reaction to the Irish ceasefire. Ian, or may I call you Gusty, have you noticed much change?
Well, I'll tell you, Frank, previously, if my mammy wanted to go to the shop and get currants, or cardamom, or sugar, or eggs, or bread, soda, or anything, she couldn't go down the Falls Road. She had to walk all around.
And the point I'm hoping you'll eventually make is...
Now, if she wants tea, or buns, or cigarettes, or flour, or butter, or raisins, or anything, it's easier.
Sounds like she's making a fruitcake. How about Southern Ireland?
Well, Frank, we're so busy down here still arguing about Parnell and banging on the bloody boron. We don't take much notice.
Sounds like my wife's side of the family. Gusty, Ireland's at peace. You're a gun thug, a terrorist. What is your fallback career?
Well, first of all, I never really was a gun thug per se. I made the tea, got the papers, assembled the odd Kalishnikov assault rep and blindfolded. But I never really felt accepted.
I think we've all been there, Gusty. And oatcakes, I might be wrong, but are you over-medicating?
Ah, stop your bollocks, Frank. You were looking for a stage Irishman, and that's what you got. Am I too top of the morning? Kiss the Blarney Stone for you.
We weren't sure what your little TV station wanted for its poodle walk in public.
You wouldn't want to scratch more than the surface now on the Irish question, Frank. You might break a nail.
Well, perhaps we'll talk again. Maybe when Ian Paisley kisses the Pope goodnight.
No, it's not.
Counties in the United Ireland.
The following is a free-time political broadcast. On behalf of the Newfoundland Separation Federation, Jerry Boyle.
Hello, I am Jerry Boyle. Have you recently cooked and eaten laminated decorative gourds? Did you give out dental floss for Halloween when you ran out of treats? Do your neighbors tell you that you should not be trick-or-treating if you were born during the Eisenhower administration? If the answer to these questions is yes, then you are like me. So why not vote for me in the upcoming Toronto City Council election? Pencil me in and get someone speaking out for your concerns. People say to me, "Go away, Jerry. You do not know anything about Toronto." But I beg to differ. I remember well my trip to Toronto and its Yonge Street, which drew me like the lemming to the Mecca. And, of course, the Gasworks Bar, with its happy people in their leather pants. I think it is now time to set the record straight about Jerry Boyle's private life. At no time has anyone given my wife a designer dress. Someone did once donate to me one pair of men's slacks, slightly used, but that, my friends, was all strictly within the election guidelines, and I have no guilt sporting these slacks in public. At this time, I would like to announce my new campaign slogan. Vote for Jerry Boyle. The medication is wearing off. And remember, if you can mark an X, you're my kind of people.
We've done a lot since the beginning, since a year. I'm Prime Minister of Canada.
I'm Prime Minister of Canada.
As I said earlier, we've done a lot. We've done a lot since the beginning, since a year.
Jean Chrétien says that in the future, in the new economy, we will all have 6 or 7 careers. Well, that's all fine and dandy if you're Jean Chrétien. He's old. He's been in politics for 30 or 40 years. But if you're in your 20s, this is very bad news indeed. What are you supposed to do? Get a phys ed degree, teach grade 9 gym, then drop that and pick up the oboe. And then once the rigors of playing in symphony get you down, move into geology. And then round out the decade in cosmetology. To me, the new economy seems just like adolescence in reverse. You know the drill. Driveway shoveler, $2 an hour, miss. Apple salesman, Boy Scouts, purely volunteer, but you'd pocket a few bucks. Military service, Sea Cadets, Air Cadets. I had a job once where I had to take care of chickens. I did a really lousy job. I didn't get paid. All of that I did before I was 12. Is that what we have to look forward to? Dead-end jobs from 18 to 65? Then puberty, then poverty, then death? Well, the new economy, eh? Way to go, Jean. Rah, rah, rah. Where do I sign?
Political corruption was widespread in the government of Brian Mulroney, claims Toronto journalist Stevie Cameron in her new book, On the Take. Kickbacks on government contracts, organized influence peddling, bribery, and interference in key RCMP investigations were rampant during Mulroney's reign. For a reaction to the revelation in Ms. Cameron's book, we go now to a still-shaken Mrs. Imelda Mitten in Smiths Falls, Ontario.
No, she's got to be kidding me. Old Irish eyes, up to his felonious snout in graft, greed, and corruption. Well, bite my gums. Ooh, I'm reeling, I'm spinning. What a week. I'm just getting over reading in the Pope's book. He's against abortion.
So you want to be a spy. Number 1. Do you have a naturally inquisitive mind? Number 2. Do you possess an above-average IQ? Number 3. Do you have mental stamina? Ceasus. We're sorry.
Well, the days are getting shorter and the nights are getting spookier. And every year at this time, we like to check in with Gail Ann and Gertie Lou Sphinxler, twin metaphysical technicians in New York.
Happy Halloween, JB!
Oh, that's a scary mask.
We're kidding. That's comedy. And as you know, I love comedy.
And I love tragedy.
But I like tragedy, too.
And I like comedy.
Well, it is Halloween. Will you be going trick-or-treating this year?
Oh, we were thinking of going out as Dear Abby and Ann Landers.
But we advised each other against it.
Also, JB, the wigs were too scary.
Yes. Oh, but we love this time of year, JB.
You know, JB, they don't say the leaves are falling because it's fall. They say it's the fall because the leaves are falling.
Of course. We predicted this name change back when it was still called autumn.
Oh. Even old New York was once New Amsterdam.
Okay. Now, how about some predictions? What about the economic situation?
Oh, dear. I see small children dressed in strange costumes going door to door begging for food.
Oh,
dark days ahead.
What about for Canada? Anything there?
Oh, we love Canada.
Oh, we love your country, JB.
Oh, Canada. It's just like New Hampshire. You're lousy with trees up there.
Oh, and water. Oh. We love that, but we were flawed when we went to buy cigarettes up there, JB.
Oh, no!
Well, unfortunately, we are running out of time. How about a very quick wrap-up?
Hope, JB, is the bird that perches in the soul.
And sings. And never stops.
At all. Isn't it heartwarming that we have a little feathered thing deep in us?
Yes, that sings incessantly.
Well, thank you, Gertie Lou and Gail Ann.
Thank you, darling.
Good
You're
night.
beautiful. Never a dance like that. I'd be out kidding
Bye-bye
you
now.
every night. God love you.
Coming this fall on CBC, in the tradition of St. Elsewhere and Chicago Hope, an all-new Canadian medical drama.
I'm a physician, damn it. I'm supposed to be able to help her. Why can't I do anything about those damned hairballs?
Animal Hospital, where life and death are everyday issues.
McAllister! This is an animal hospital, not a doggy shelter.
Animal Hospital, new this fall.
She's gonna be all right. Doctor, I think I've fallen in love with a patient.
And she's got a bee in her bonnet. Here's this hour's own Sandy Campbell.
How do couples get stuck? Oh, hi! I'm Sandy Campbell, and I'll tell you what's crazy. My cousin Brandy keeps sending me these Change Your Life books. Dance of Anger. I can't even do the monkey. Besides, I don't have time to read this kind of stuff. Hubby's been painting the wallboard in the rec room, and I've been crawling the floor reading the newspapers he's using for drop sheets. I like to be up on what's happening, no matter how hard it is on the knees. But I'm telling you, the whole world is crazy. Did you know that if you translate Coca-Cola into Chinese, it means bite the wax tadpole? What? Give me a popcorn and a medium bite the wax tadpole, garçon. This morning, I was lying on the entertainment page, making a few phone calls, and there was Sharon Stone in the ad for the specialist, and she's running in high heels. Ha! I'd like to see her chiropractor swimming pool. Doesn't she know the only way to wear high heels is lying down? Ha ha! All the big serious Hollywood movies are out now. I saw a quiz show the other night, came home and played quiz show with hubby. I asked him stuff I knew he couldn't answer, like, what's the number for 411? And where's my G-spot? And I guess he's all fired up now anyway, because they're gonna let you use bank cards at the liquor store. It's about time, he says. But then he always said there should be easier access to booze. I guess the fumes from the paint thinner just don't do it for him anymore. Although when he got up this morning, he looked a little skanky. That's when I told him to lay off the hard stuff and kick back with a little glass of Bite the Wax tadpole. Couldn't hurt. I'm Sandy Campbell.
7 paintings by Picasso, worth a total of over $70 million, have been stolen from a private art collection in Switzerland. 2 of the most valuable paintings were stolen from the same art gallery 3 years ago. That time, the thieves were arrested and the paintings were recovered. As yet, the police have no leads. However, they do have the names, addresses, and telephone numbers of the thieves from 3 years ago, and they are apparently thinking of going over and seeing if those thieves have them.
Well, that's it for tonight's show. I'm Sidney Jabiznicek. For all of us here at This Hour Has 22 Minutes, I'd once again like to apologize to the children who came through the studio on today's grade 3 field trip. We didn't mean for our Halloween pumpkin to scare you and make you cry. Hope the nightmares won't be too bad. Good night.
Good night. Look, there's a trick-or-treater, look. Look, get him, Bun, look. Look, get him with that one, look.
Here, Lloyd picks them off, look.
There you go. There you go, look.
Get away from the goddamn door!
There you go.
What am I after telling you? Go on! Jesus, it's 3 o'clock in the goddamn morning! Christ! What a neighborhood! What's after happened to the neighborhood?
He's a single father of 4.
No.
There's no single fathers of 4, my son.
Yeah. Sure, that single father of 4 that we beat up the other day was profiled on the television the other night.
Yeah, I saw his profile on the television the other night.
Crime Stoppers.
Yeah.
Where are you going to find now a single father of 4?
Up to the hospital. Sure, if those on Crime Stoppers, we should frame that weird fellow where's the poncho ran for the NDP for that.
Yeah, up the road, yeah.
Yeah. Did you put the crowbar in the in underneath his house there?
No, I forgot.